revolution.
Bookmarklets on standby.
Log online, fan page loaded and ready.
Player stats, loaded. Health check, go.
Weapons check. Eyes check. Complete.
We have launched for the Informant podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty, welcome to the Informant podcast. I'm Pistol Pete, and tonight I have with me Jana and Jennifer. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's been a long weekend, I'll tell you that.
Has it been?
How come? It's just, I don't know. I've had a little insomnia about this weekend, so.
Yeah, I heard you say that you didn't get much sleep.
No, I've just been like really, I don't know, my brain's working overtime, so I'm going to catch up on it tonight. In fact, I figure right after recording, I'm going to bed.
That'll work.
That's the plan. But I've been finishing my family progression early each day because I'm not going to bed till like 6, 7 in the morning.
Yikes.
It's funny.
There's nothing to do at night because I'm done. I'm like, oh,
You
God.
know, I used to like always do mine right at midnight. I'd have it done like within an hour and a half. And then as we got so much more busier with all this stuff coming out from Zynga, I find I'm like struggling to get it done just by midnight.
I was finding that before too, but this insomnia bout has corrected the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get back up midnight because I like knocking it out and then not having to worry about it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. And now there's no ice seasons or anything, so I feel like I don't really know what I'm doing with it.
Oh, don't say that.
Is there? Well, no, I don't want an ice season. But I don't.
Well,
I really don't. But
don't give the impression you're bored.
No, I'm not bored.
But the ice seasons don't matter really.
No, they don't.
Because you're going to end up having to do, if you're going to do family progression, you're doing ISIS anyway, so.
Yeah, so at least it's counting for something else. And,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, what I've learned from a lot of the comments that I've read, there are a lot of people out there that it's not possible for them to get the ISIS for family progression.
Mm-hmm.
And they do struggle with getting the 1,000 ISIS or 1,500.
I can
it
believe
takes some
it.
dedication.
Yeah. It does, and I think that's more designed for players like us who do everything and can do everything.
Insane ones.
So I worry that that could hinder player retention because if every week you're getting smacked in the ass because you can't finish something, it's just one more reason to make you feel like you're not complete. Yeah.
Kind of over.
But, you know, personally for us, I think Ice Seasons is great because you're doing it anyways and then you're getting the loot.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. Kind of like, you know, the battles. If you're fighting anyway and you're not at war with anybody in your family,
Yep.
then why not? Why not beat up somebody?
True.
Or take a beating, as we said. So, anyway, what's happening? Anything change in Stockholm this weekend?
No, nothing really changed there, but I do have an apology to make.
Oh.
Yeah, in when I posted Friday's show, I forgot to do a step, which actually left the show with the right and left channels. So I was on the right side of your head, and the ladies were on the left side of your head. And so I've reposted it, and it's been cleaned up. But for those that download the show to iTunes, if you want to fix that, what you would do is go into your iTunes, delete the show, and then go in and unsubscribe to the Informant podcast and resubscribe, and then it will re-download the show for you. If you just delete it from your list and you keep hitting the refresh button until you're blue in the face, it will not go in and see that there's an old show out there to pull back in. So I do apologize for that. I completely missed that step. I'm not sure how I did because I'm so used to doing this now, but
I think most people thought that their headsets were broken.
That's what.
Like that.
Well, and I remember one time I had done this once before early on, and one of the people actually had a headset that didn't have a right side, and so they couldn't hear half the conversation. So it was kind of funny, but now.
Well, it's depending on who you like or don't like.
That's right.
Show.
You just turn on half the channel and you'd be good to go. So if you didn't want to listen to me anyway, you could just you could take the speaker away from your right ear.
And so. Chester would take it away from the left ear when I was talking.
So anyway, that's my apology. But yeah, as far
That's why he said it was the best show ever.
as
Chester listened? I doubt it.
it was a long show. We had a lot of
Just joking.
information though. So
There was a lot of stuff.
yep.
There was.
There's always a lot of stuff, but it seemed more so on that last show.
And I couldn't resist putting in Mike's redneck segment in the middle of the rants.
That was awesome. It was a good laugh. I enjoyed it.
It should be the opening theme to his segment when we get him brave
Yeah,
enough.
when we talk him into doing a segment.
I think the redneck segment would be good because there's
I
a lot of rednecks are out there playing Mafia Wars.
Did you guys see his new license plate?
No.
He got a Rebel Man plate.
I thought it said redneck.
No, it said Rebel Man. Hopefully you don't get mad at me for saying it. Because
Is that on the working car in the driveway in the front yard or the broken down one?
Oh, that's just hanging in his bedroom. No, I don't know.
Next
no,
to
it's
the
on his car.
bathtub planner.
Well, yeah, it's pretty cool though. He's gonna kill us once again.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
as far as Stockholm, no, we don't have anything new that came out this week. We've had a lot of conversation as of late again about stats, whether or not we should be collecting them and then making available sort of reports that kind of tell people where they sit with the population as a whole. And I think we're probably going to start investigating that again and see if that's something we can go ahead and do. And then maybe make it something that's available through the toolbar as an opt-in thing for those that want to, upload their stats and then obviously be able to see where they compare to other people.
And it would be totally anonymous, right?
Right. Now there's stats databases out there that are not, that they're, they share information based on collected ID information of players out there as far as, wins and kills and so on. I don't know. It's a slippery slope. We're not sure exactly how to fit into it. But I think the safest is to never share the stats. But people can get stats themselves if they want to. And I think that's about it for me. So.
I have something to say about a Spotcom.
Yes.
Spocklet. Well, on the last show you talked about your Heinzenator.
Yes.
And it was the last day of poker, and I didn't use the Heinzenator because I kind of use a different strategy because I know the statistics so well of poker cards.
Right.
And so a lot of times I can save myself some cards by actually taking a card.
Right.
And what I did notice on that last day, the win ratio was way worse than it had been. Like I was losing a lot more hands than I normally would.
Right.
And then I saw some people in the news feeds and in pages mention the same thing, but they used the Heinzenator and they were blaming that ratio on the Heinzenator.
Oh, I see.
And I just think people don't realize it's just a tool that clicks for you. And
Right.
it had nothing to do with those poor results.
Yeah, it was designed specifically to show immediately, not make any assessment of what you've got in your hand or what you don't have in your hand. For some of us, like you said, statistically, we were trying to get 42% or better anyway to complete the event on time. And so most of us didn't really care whether or not we lost some and we won some. We were just going to play the odds that, we were going to win more than 50% of the time or at least close to 50% of the time. And so that's all it did. It was, it just clicked the show button and then it turned around and reloaded the cards and clicked the show button and reloaded the cards. So if, Julianne had a hand with 2 queens in it and you had a hand that had no match, no card showing with, a pair, you're going to lose immediately. Now, following Jen's logic, if you go in and you say, okay, well, let me take a chance at maybe getting at least a pair by dropping something out, I might get lucky enough to get that match and at least give the showing cards a run for their money. But we didn't add that logic to the Heinzenator. It wasn't designed to be that.
And if you don't know poker, I wouldn't just do it with, like, if I had a hand like you just said, where
Right.
she has queens, I have nothing, I'm going to take the loss and move on. But if I have nothing, but I have like 4 hearts,
Right.
there's way more hearts out there, plus I could get a pair to match.
Right.
So in that special situation, I would take 1 card, maybe 2,
Right.
and move on.
Yep.
But the Heinzenator had nothing to do with that poor showing on the last day. And I don't know if Zynga changed it because I was getting it pretty close to 50%. I had it better than 50% for most of the event. And I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I will tell you honestly that the day before, when I finally gave up because I figured I wasn't going to get enough to get, and then they extended the event, which made me very mad. And I've now since gotten over it, but I still hold a grudge. But
And
anyway,
you always will.
and I always will. That's right. But I noticed on that second to last day that there were a lot of hands. This was before. Well, Heinzenator was there, but I was playing hands manually anyway for the heck of it. And I was noticing I was getting a tremendous amount of losses too. I didn't count, hand for hand to determine whether or not it was still a 50-50 or a less than 50%. But I definitely got the impression that somehow they managed to tweak around with the formula on when you win a hand versus when you don't.
I think that too. She was just getting a lot more hands that had pairs and
Yes, agreed. Yes.
And it was just like, this wasn't happening earlier.
Right.
Not cool.
So if they make the event like that again, then I don't even want to play it.
Yep. I think they went monkeying with it, and they went ahead and changed the odds.
Well, they probably saw the strategy that the community was using.
Remember, the house always wins.
Right. And they were probably like, oh. And
especially with Zynga.
And I believe their goal was for you to be close enough to that next level that you would go buy some cards to get there.
Yep. And lose at those hands too. So.
And a lot of people did. So.
Yep.
Not me, but I'm broke.
Well, I did buy a few cards just because I wanted to see what happened when you mastered it, and I wanted to see early. So I think maybe I spent a total of 70 reward points to get.
Well, for you, that's not bad, but for me, 70 reward points.
Yeah,
that's good.
And it was a waste. You never want to spend your reward points on loot, and essentially that's what you're doing.
Yep.
Or you could just go to the marketplace. I could have bought 2 better items.
Mm-hmm.
For less.
Very true. But yeah, that's. I mean, the long and the short of it is our script had nothing, or Spocklet had nothing to do with those statistics.
But you were blamed.
Of course.
Zynga odds.
It was all Spockholm's fault.
Hey, you notice the first round. If it doesn't look like it's going in your favor, play by hand. We can't change the odds. I mean, it's the same thing in like fighting or the robbing or the whatever. You can have a script that'll run it, and it'll just do the manual clicks that you would do as if you were playing the game, and your odds are going to be exactly the same because Zynga controls the formula. So
it's like that lucky stash formula.
Yep.
That sucks. I hate the lucky stash.
Yep.
It's so rigged, and it sucks you in anyways. Even knowing it's rigged, if you start playing it, you can't stop. So I recommend that nobody even plays it, unless you have good willpower and can only use your free spins every day.
So don't do as she does, do as she says.
Yeah. I've been better about that.
I hope so.
You get your ass kicked so many times.
But I didn't think you were going to do this marketplace event right now, and it looks like somewhere I saw that you did.
Oh, yeah. There's this marketplace sale called the Sea of Red, and it's to honor the Chinese New Year. And it's another one of those tick mark ones, and I was really good about the other New Year one because I was really mad that they didn't put the new crates on sale for 6 reward points each.
Which they didn't for this one either.
And they didn't for this one, so I was like, well, I'm not doing it again. But then I started thinking, well, I didn't do it the last time, so all those Holiday Mayhem crates would be new to me.
And on sale.
And I looked at the stats, and I'm like, well, the stats are still pretty good. And so I was like, well, let me just buy a few. And then Mike Nestor started buying a lot of them, and we both had the Assassinator going. If you run the Assassinator, any loot you get from any other source, not just fighting, is going to show up on your increased attack and defense. Mm-hmm. And so I posted mine to show how many points I improved. And then he posted one, and he had more points than me. So I don't like that, and so I went back and I bought more.
The addiction.
Welcome to the competition of Mafia Wars.
But I only posted one of them. Like when you get to 15, you can post to your Mafia that you did this. And then when I got to the second one, I was like, oh, I'm not going to post this. They're going to think I'm stupid. So I X'd it out. But so now I have I have 3 mall Santas.